I have talked a lot on the podcast this month and also historically talked a lot about Street Data by Shane Safir and Jamila Dugan. You may know that Pedagogies of Voice is an amazing book that I've talked about in YouTube Shorts as well, by Shane Safir and 3 other colleagues who are amazing. It's incredible, and I just want to share one particular resource that they share in the book. Get the book. It is packed. I mean, there's something like this, like almost every other page. There's like a ton of dog-eared tabs, like on the physical book that I own. But this is an actual, it's administrator facing. It is a session that was designed and facilitated by Shane Safir, and it's about how to truly listen to students and, of course, learning through experience. It's an actual invitation for students to share, and the facilitation is of the leaders listening to students. So feel free to use this, she has said, and you can see on the actual document itself, like use with permission, adapt as you want, just make sure you credit it, which I absolutely love and think is so generative in the spirit of educational sharing. So let's look at it. Shared in Pedagogies of Voice by Shane Safir. This is for secondary principals and vice principals. It's a learning session with the inquiry question, what does it mean to truly truly listen to students, right? And we have the student-centered agreements here, where we're talking about really like honoring the courage. We're not questioning or interrogating the stories. We're not interrupting, right? We're centering voices from the margins. We're really working to challenge our biases and defensiveness. And it goes on to share, the session purposes, to get clear on that. And then what the learning experiences are, there's also notes on the side. So this is, again, an agenda, including panel questions and student-facing agreements, all designed by Shane Safir. We have the opening rituals here, which I love this concept of opening rituals, where there's a welcome, there's an intention setting, and there's a listening dyad. So to already reflect on and center the idea of listening to a young person and experiencing this idea of like authority, your experience as a young person with authority, and like how that felt for you is a lovely place to enter this conversation of listening. So I love this. I love the guidelines. And then they jump right into the main event, which is a student Kiva panel. So they, share what it is, they share the listening objectives, they have the Kiva panel, and then they share an affirmation for the panelists. So we're keeping it affirming and making sure that the student experience is one that is positive, and affirms their value in sharing, their inherent value as human beings, and just their courage and vulnerability to share with adults. These are the questions. So thinking about who you are, being able to have students identify for themselves who they are, what student voice means to them, share a bit about, the team that they're working on and why the project matters to them, what makes the work difficult at times, a concrete idea, emerging what you need from adults, right? Are there barriers that need to be removed, for example? And what would it look like for adults to listen to your ideas and take action? I also love this, what would it not look like? So you have that, you have a small group discussion. These are the discussion questions she uses. So we're both thinking about what are the literal things we heard from students. Also, what does, in this case, Shane do or the facilitator do to model deep listening and micro affirmations, because that's what we want everyone to ultimately do when we listen to students. And then where are the access points in your community? Where can we do this? Where can we tap into student wisdom? And then closing reflections, right? Capitalizing on like, what do we learn? Yes, but also this idea of courage, right? We just witnessed a ton of students being super courageous. As adults, we can bring this courage forward in our work. What does that look like? Let's get clear. I absolutely love basically everything that Shane Safir puts out, and I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of this brilliant resource. Model this, do this at your schools and your districts. I think it is brilliant. As much as you can, invite in that student voice, and here's a clear structure with questions, with specific questions to prompt reflection and discussion for your staff and your students.